Hi everyone! Today I want to share a new stamp set from the mini catalog, and it's a really great multi-season stamp set, which makes me like it even more. So it reminds me a little bit of some other wreath builders that we've had. Maybe you've seen the Ranger wreath that retired and some people missed out on. It's kind of a hot commodity. But it was a really pretty wreath builder, and this kind of fits that same bill. So it's back, and if you missed out on that one, you can get this one. And the neat thing about this one is that there are different types of wreaths, and so this is fun for, they've got Halloween and kind of a Thanksgiving and a Christmas. So it's just a really nice leaf builder, and of course a wreath builder, sorry. And of course you can make it for other holidays as well. So really fun, and I thought I would point out a few little things. I like that you've got what I call sprinkle stamps, because you've got these little small images, and so you've got bat, sprinkle, snowflake, stars, and the leaves. And the leaves are great, you know, for Thanksgiving, fall, harvest, that type of thing. Stars can go for anything. It can even be for birthday. I like or Halloween, you know, you can kind of make it spooky night sky. I like the bats and the snowflakes. So it's just a really cute, and then you've got different types of branches, which always very useful. And you can imagine arranging these branches around the wreath if you were really a careful stamper, or you use the Stamparatus to do that Stamparatus wreath trick. So you can do that, or you can use the paper wreaths. So really nice, and I thought I would show you the dies as well. Now there are dies to cut out your branches. So these 4 and the pine cone. Oh, actually 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 to cut out those. Even that little tiny one right there. So you do have something for all your images, but then they gave you a lot of bonus dies, and I want to show you those because I thought they were fun. There's a bat. There's some leaves that kind of go with this wreath. And then there's these little holly leaves that can go on top of this one. So you've got these little extras, and then you've got a few other things like this pumpkin, which is super cute, and this tiny little broomstick, which I think is just adorable, and that would make a really cute Halloween themes thing. You can use the pumpkin with both Thanksgiving, harvest, or Halloween. And then this little thing here, this little strip of dots, you can use it to make, you know, cut out some little dots in some red foil, and you know, those can be berries, or you know, any kind of, it doesn't have to be foil. Red paper is great too, so you can use your cardstock. So anyway, really well thought out dies, and so I thought that was fun, and the stamp set as well, very well thought out. So I thought I would show you a few. This is just my first pass at this, and so I thought I would do like easy. So my first pass, I wanted to do something for every season. So I started with fall, because fall is my favorite, and I did this card, and here's that pumpkin. So you see how cute that is? And you've got these leaves. I'm going to bring it a little closer because I want you to see that I didn't actually cut out leaves from multiple types of cardstock. I did with the separate leaf die, with these individual dies, but on this larger one here that has leaves on the die, I cut that out in crumb cake, and then I just used a sponge to add some color. So I added bumblebee and pumpkin pie and Cajun craze, and so that's how I got the different color leaves. And then of course you can add more leaves with the cutouts. So there's that, my little quick take on harvest. And then I just went with the same exact layout to do a Christmas. Everything's the same, except I used a different wreath. I used the more holly and pine wreath. And then for Halloween, this is the same layout, I just turned it. Instead of being vertical, I went horizontal. Couldn't remember that word for a second there. So here I just made it Halloween kind of looking with the bats, and I cut those out of black glimmer paper, and that's that extra bat. And I used this wreath. So very simple, and I also stamped my sprinkle bats in the background. I should have done even more, or maybe higher, because when I added the wreath I covered up some of my bats. So just a fun, these were just really quick take on this card, or I mean this stamp set, one for every season. And then I wanted to do another, had it in my head that maybe less layering, just something I could do for my card buffet last week. And on card buffet I kind of tend to do simpler, because I want you just be able to make as many cards as you want in a couple hours. So card buffet goes for simple. So here we have an even simpler version with every season. So here I went with the fall, and I did the same thing. I just used cardstock and then a sponge to add those little leaves. And then on this one, Halloween again. And this one is the Christmas. And here, I love these little red rhinestones. They're in the annual catalog. And I use them every holiday. They've been in there for a couple holidays in a row, a couple Christmas seasons, and this is how I use them. I use them as holly berry. Adds just the right amount of sparkle, but it still makes the card, it's kind of a rustic barn feel is what I was going for. This one might be might need a little something else. Give me some ideas on this one. And then I like this one's kind of simple. In here I just used some little gold metallic pearls, they're called. So I thought we would go through and make one of each card together. And so we're going to do the rustic one first. And I thought we would do the fall because it's my favorite. I love fall. I love Thanksgiving and people coming over and eating together and the whole Thanksgiving holiday. Okay, so for that card, I'm starting with a base in Early Espresso. And that's just a piece of cardstock that's 8.5 by 11, cut in half and scored down the middle. And then I cut a piece of this wooden plank designer series paper at 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. And this is a pack of paper called In Good Taste. And it's actually kind of a really wonderful paper pack because it has a lot of different wood textures. So you've got that wood plank one. You've also got kind of more of a, I don't know, what is that, like a beech wood? And then the back has different textures too, like here's kind of a stone kitchen backsplash maybe. You've got like a gessoed canvas. It's just all different things. Here's kind of a burlap, that one is a favorite. And there's all different kinds. There's just all kinds of textured backgrounds, and so I really love this paper pack. And it's a jumbo paper pack. It's 48 sheets, not 12. So it's a little more pricey, but you're gonna get so much use out of this. It's amazing. Anyway, that is where the wood's from. And all I did here, I wanted to make the wreath a little fuller, so I stamped the actual swirl stamped wreath down first, and then I built on top of it. So that's just a little extra step that I thought was worth doing, just for some fullness. And I used Early Espresso. So you're just going to go ahead and stamp that down. Okay, next I want to talk to you about a different paper that's kind of new. We used to sell this paper. It's craft paper. A lot of you might be familiar with craft paper, but if you're not, it's kind of a natural textured paper. It looks kind of like crumb cake. We used to sell it, and we used to even call crumb cake craft, and it had more speckle leaves in it. It was more natural. But then they wanted to, I think, unify and make all the cardstocks the same. So craft kind of went away, and I missed it. It's really nice. It's just kind of more natural looking. It's got little flecks in it. Maybe you can see it curls a little bit because it's just a different material, but it's a nice paper. It's kind of like the box, like when you get a box in the mail, cardboard box. It's that last layer of paper on top of the cardboard box. So now they come in a 6x6, and you get multiple sheets. So you get 20 sheets in this 6x6 pack, and you just open it up and use that. So I'm going to cut my wreaths out of that just because it's a natural color and I really like it. So I'm going to cut out 2 of this wreath, and I will be right back. Oh, when I do that, here's a little tip too. I grabbed the small little leaf like this, and I put it on the inside and cut it at the same time. Just might as well use up some of this paper. So I'm going to do that. Okay, so I've got 2 of my craft wreaths, and I cut a couple extra little leaves just for fun. If you're looking for where this craft paper is in the catalog, this is from the new mini catalog that goes until December. So it's just a limited time paper. And I think it's in with the gingerbread collection. Okay, So here are my little wreaths. And then I wanted to sponge some color. So it's kind of hard sometimes to sponge with some of our larger sponge daubers. And so for this, I just grabbed a Q-tip. So I grabbed Bumblebee. Maybe one more. And then I went with Cajun Craze. And Pumpkin Pie. Okay. Now I'm going to just go ahead and stick this piece of Designer Series paper down directly onto the Early Espresso card base. Oops, and I'm going to do the same with my wreaths. So I'm just kind of looking for little areas that I can add this liquid glue behind the leaves. Some of the thicker areas. Go ahead and place that down. And then I'm going to add this one. And here I'm just going to try to make sure not to line them up on top of their similar. So I've got that 2 branch swoop right there, so I'm going to try and make it almost exactly opposite. There we go. And just to help it set, I'm going to go ahead and stick that on top. Okay, so another thing I need is some linen thread, and I want to make a nice little bow. And I did a double layered linen thread bow, so it's got 2 layers of thread just to make it a little bigger. Okay, then I'm going to grab a piece of Cajun Craze scrap. I love using up my scraps. I keep them in my bag, so when I get to grab one, I'm very happy. All right, and we're just going to stamp that grateful message. Oops, I grabbed kind of a large block for that. That's all right. Okay, and then for that, I wanted to give it some shimmer, so I embossed it in gold. This is copper. I wonder if that would be too much on top of the Cajun Craze. Let's go ahead and try it anyway, just because I haven't seen it embossed in a while. I just grab an order form out of my recycling container here. Ooh, my daughter's home from her first day of school. I'm gonna go talk to her. I'll be back. Okay, I'm back. And hopefully I can still emboss this, because I just realized that I didn't. I have one little stray piece of copper embossing powder. I'm going to see if I can flick it away. Well, we'll see. Okay. Alright, embossing is so fun. Alright, so I've got my grateful greeting, and I want to just kind of cut the end off here and give it kind of a banner end or a flag end or a forked end, whatever you want to say. I think I'll cut it close on this end. There. So I'm not sure if embossing, sometimes embossing on similar colors like that, it's harder to see the greetings. I'm hoping that you can see that. Let me know your thoughts on that. I usually tend to emboss in white, but sometimes that nice shimmery metallic is fun. Alright, so I lost my bow. Here it is. I want to add that. And I'm just going to stick that down with a glue dot. Okay, and then I'm going to stick the grateful down with some dimensional so they raise over that glue dot. And I'm going to avoid the end with the dimensionals because I want it to go over that knot and I don't want it to be bumpy. So I'm going to give it space to go over the knot. Like so. Okay, like that. And then I thought adding a few of those metallic pearls would be fun, but now I went, instead of gold, like I did on this one, I embossed in gold. Here I went copper, and actually, I like the copper better. So, some of these extra little leaves that I made, too, you can decide to add them to make your wreath fuller, or you can have them like they're falling away, which was what I was kind of thinking I would do. So I was going to add a couple, flatten that out a bit, kind of falling away. So, and then I have two left over, so I might as well use them. Okay, so there, I've used them up. Now, let's see what I have gem-wise or metallic-wise to maybe add some little bling. Okay, so we have these brushed metal adhesive back dots. So let's see what we think. I haven't used them yet. They look nice. And maybe I will try a couple of the copper ones. Just kind of here and there. Two sizes. Oops. Yep, I think I like those. I think I need an odd number, so I'm going to throw one more down. Where do I want it? I don't want them to look perfectly spaced apart, so I think well, now I feel I need one more. Okay. I think I'm going to let it go right there. So that is the first one. Now in the inside, I thought I could add a few of these leaves. This branch that has some leaves on it, and a way to still get all those little colors is with that Q-tip again. So I'm going to add some pumpkin pie, and you can do you can kind of make the leaves multicolored if you felt like it, instead of all the whole leaf being one color. So here I'm kind of adding bumblebee to part of a leaf. We'll see how that looks. And let's add some more. I forgot to add Cajun craze, but I think that's okay. And then I want to add a little espresso on the stem. Now you can do this similarly with markers too. You can color your leaves and your stamp with markers. So there I have a little leaf for the inside. And there's my fall version of that card. And then let's do another, the more layered card. Let me fast forward and put all this away. Okay, here is our more layered version with the wreath. So I'm going to start with real red cardstock, and then I have some designer series paper. This is from a pack called Heartwarming Hugs. And this is actually the second holiday that we've had this same designer series paper, and I like that because I had some first off. And also it's such a classic. It has your reds and greens, and it has just patterns. So you can add this to the back of anything. I mean, you can use it with those cute little penguins. You can use it with Santa, elves, you know, hot cocoa cards, pockets, anything. It's just got everything you need. Any kind of pattern. So great. I love that candy cane stripe kind of pattern. I love this one. So it's a really great paper pack, and that came back in the mini again. Very happy about that. So I've got that, and then again I've got that wood grain again from the In Good Taste Designer Series paper pack. And I've cut this one at 4 by 5 1/4, and this is 4 by 3. And I'm going to layer on the bottom. Now you could just have this paper shorter, but I like to layer them on top because it's easier for me to put ribbon around it. So I've got that, and then the ribbon I'm going to use is called Playful Pets Trim Combo Pack, and I'm just using the red. It comes with the black and white, which I go through a lot of actually, so I just got a new one. It's really a nice ribbon pack. It's very thin, but sometimes it's nice to not have so much ribbon. And all I'm going to do here is go all the way around, and I want this lined up just so I'm not going to carry it around and tie it. I'm going to pretend that it goes all the way around and glue dot it, partly because I need to make swaps, and I think this is going to be a swap card, and a lot of demonstrators participate in swaps, and we kind of trade cards, and this might be a swap card, so I need to kind of conserve my ribbon. So I'm going to go like this, and I just wrapped it around, and then I'm going to glue that down. Okay, and then we're going to work on our wreath. So I already cut these out so that we wouldn't have to wait for me to cut them again, although I fast forward it usually during that anyway, so you're not really waiting, are you? But I'm again using 2 wreaths, and again I'm going to sponge. I wanted to have 2 different color greens, and the easiest way to do that is to just sponge the areas that you want to change. So I'm going to use Shaded Spruce, and I'm going to sponge on top of the pine needles, leaving the Hollyberry Old Olive. And this is such a bigger area, so I can go ahead and use my dauber. Alright, we got our wreath. And again, I did the same thing on this one that I did on the last one. I stamped that large swirl. Now this white piece is 2 7/8, and the early espresso is 3 1/8. And then I'm going to go ahead and add my pine. And again, I'm going to put a block on top and let it just sit for just a second while I do my embossing. Alright, I grabbed a scrap of, oh, this is kind of a funky scrap. It's got a weird end. Let me see if I can trim that. Okay, I cleaned the edge a little bit here. And I'm going to grab the Merry Christmas and emboss that in white. Oh no, look what I did. Arg. Okay, we have all our pieces, and now we're going to assemble. I'm going to put my wreath panel on top. As you can see, I'm out of the regular size dimensionals, and I'm using minis. It's not intentional, it's just that I'm out. I started having in-person classes again, and I forgot just how fast I'm going to go through my supplies with my classes. I also need a small bow. To add right there. Merry Christmas is going to go straight across. And then those really pretty red rhinestones. And I like to add them in little groups of 3. So they, I don't know, I guess in my mind that's the traditional image of holly berries, little groups of 3. I don't even know if that's reality. But in my head, that's what they say to me, little groups of 3. And then just to have some variety, I do a couple single ones here and there too. I'm kind of using a lot of these berries, but they're actually pretty inexpensive, and you get a lot on the sheet, so you can add quite a few. Alright, so there is my card, and then on the inside here there is another little sentiment stamp with this set, and I'm going to add that. Then, for some green on the inside, I'm just going to go ahead and add that little pine branch in shaded spruce. Okay, here you go. There is the mini layered version. Let me bring in the Halloween again, and the fall, and then the more rustic version. We've got barn door style, fall, Halloween, and Christmas. I hope that you'll take a look at this bundle. It is really pretty, lots of fun, sparkle of the season, and then the seasonal swirls. They're calling these swirls, not wreaths, and these are really fun dies, so take a look at them and let me know if you have any questions whatsoever.